This week's episode was brought to you by listeners like you, which here at The Whole Rabbit, we are the most thankful for. So this week, we threw the scripts in the trash and held a Thanksgiving pizza banquet where we discussed gang stalking, shadow work, and talking to ghosts in our dreams. Because there's just some things you shouldn't bring up at the Thanksgiving table unless you're at the table with us here at The Whole Rabbit podcast. So spark up a hog's foot, kick off those shoes, and let the pretense of having to hang out with your real family gently slough off of you like your skin will in the nuclear apocalypse that could happen at any moment. Because when it does, we want you to remember in that last moment of flashing nuclear brilliance, the tiny cherished moments we had together around the digital campfire in our own personal prisons, where even in the depths of depression, tyranny, and annoyance, we too could find friendship and love, mostly of a platonic variety, unless you're talking about my wife. We're still trying to get her here from Canada. You know, we just got through such a rocky election season, and it's great to have a community where we still can respect and scream at each other like real family.
And find something to be grateful for?
Yeah, why not? Because I think Festivus is coming up next. A Festivus for the rest of us. But until then, everybody, thank you and enjoy the show.
Woo.
Hello.
There we go.
All right.
Well, thank you for coming. Nick, you're going to tell us an interesting story about moving out to the Midwest, was it?
Yeah, kind of, in a nutshell, moving out to the Midwest. I'd already been living where I was for like a year and a half, maybe. Rent's super expensive, so we were living in like hotels, stuff like that. Through that, I got a job doing maintenance at this shitty hotel on West Denver. It's called the Motel. They had flooding in their basement, so they hired me to remodel it. I was like doing drywall stuff and like sweating pipe, like soldering brass pipe together to like make it sound. You guys get me? So I was doing stuff like that, and this room was locked, and it was like it had all of this shit up on pallets, and there was like an old gun case, like tons of old boxes and stuff like that. So like in one of these boxes, I found this guy's like 32nd degree like Masonic paper and his military record, which I still have. That's the only thing I kept.
Whoa.
And yeah, wild shit, dude. So and that's just like the first part of the story. But this guy had like, and granted, this guy's grandson lived in the hotel that I worked at one point in time, and he couldn't like pay the rent or whatever. So he just kind of like dipped out and left all the stuff there 5 years before I even worked there. And the guy's ashes were also there. So I arranged to have that sent back to the family. And I gave all the papers and stuff to the Masonic Lodge. And hey, babe, can you get the pizza? The cat is trying to get at the pizza. But yeah, so I turned in all the paperwork to the Masonic Lodge kind of by chance because the person that owned the hotel that I worked at also had relatives north of Denver in this town called Idaho Springs. I know it's kind of convoluted, but we ended up moving up there. I was doing the same thing there, renovating things. They had a local Masonic Lodge there that needed like stucco work on the outside and all this stuff. So the guy that I was working with put me in contact with somebody that is a Mason in that town, and I got the job to like redo the face of their building in Idaho Springs. So while I was doing that, I gave the guy all of this stuff that I had found like maybe a month prior, you know? And so the dude takes it and everything's cool. They pay me, the job's over. Like the final walkthrough, we're doing everything. And the guy was like, hey, do you want to come to this dinner next Thursday? And I was like, sure, I guess. And he's like, don't bring your wife. And all this stuff. So, and the town of Idaho Springs, man, is like, it's kind of small and it's like, it's tucked in the mountains. So like you're surrounded by mountains everywhere and it's like its own little world, you know? And they've tried to make it like tourist trappy, but it just like doesn't catch on. But it's really tight knit. Like the locals there all know each other. Everybody grew up there around one another. The older people there are like old gold money. So like a lot of gold was found in the area. There's a lot of old gold mines. You can even see the tailings like all up in the hills, like from the town. So just like that's the caliber of people that you're dealing with. And yeah, man. So I go to this dinner. Yeah, I got super like I don't want to say homoerotic and like be cliche and like fucking like that, but I definitely got like, you think he would be down vibes from more than a few people there. And there was a super weird guy from Chicago that had this like ponytail, and he brought his 14-year-old son, and the son had to go like out of the room whenever we started eating and stuff like that. And I wasn't upstairs like once the meeting started. I had to leave because like I'm not a member or whatever. But at the end of the dinner, they asked me if like I wanted to be an initiate. And I was like, I'll think about it. And I never went back. I never talked to those guys. We lived in that town like a year and a half after this. So after that, man, this is where it gets like weird. We were followed around town like on numerous occasions.
Oh, really?
I used to be a process server, and I worked for a private investigator. Shout out Liar Catchers in Lexington, Kentucky. They're awesome. But I know what a surveillance detection route is. Like I know what to look for. Do you know what I mean? I know that a lot of people that are into the sort of things that we're into, like it's really easy to discount us and stuff like that. So like what I'm telling you is like is based in. It's not just like, oh, I saw this guy.
I know what you're talking about. My friend he actually owns a private investigation firm, so I totally know what you're talking about.
I just got a note card passed from my wife. This dude had a grimoire in his stuff as well, so that was pretty cool. I'll get into that as well a little bit later, but yeah, so people like older people would follow us around this town, and we stood out definitely. Like my wife is like one of the only ethnic people like in that town for sure. That wasn't just passing through.
Right.
But yeah, and like it was just always really weird around town and stuff like that. We had this guy that lived next to us park his motorcycle like right up to our front door and like blow fumes in our door, and like I would open the door and he would like take off. Like that happened. Swear to God, dude. I'm trying to think of like
was that to scare you out of town? Do you think it was like aggressive in nature? It was like meant to frighten you?
Super aggressive in nature. I'm not really sure like what the motive here was. Do you know what I mean? But it led me down the path of like the Stasi and Zersetsa, all that stuff. When I listened to your episode on that, I was like, holy shit, like they know what's up. It's awesome. So like through this experience, like it kind of opened my world a little bit. Other things happen too, but I'm kind of like nervous and starstruck right now, so it's hard to think. I'm trying to like bring my wife in here. Like I don't know what happened.
No, that's a great story. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're good.
What were you saying, babe?
Oh,
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I feel like the most interesting in all this stuff was that box we found included so many other things. Like, yeah, it had his military records, it had a lot of Masonic things, but there was, like Nick said, a rudimentary grimoire. There were candles, there were old coins, there were statues with different types of iconography. So women, there were cats, there was
Kali.
Yeah, there was Kali. He had lots of small figurines, and the energy that was carried in these objects was very, very weird. And over the course of about a year, we ended up shedding a lot of these items, whether it was trading them or giving them to people or things, but the energy that was carried with it. And do you remember the guy's name? This guy wrapped up in some things, and even just with the way the coin return went, like when he was bringing these things back to the Masonic Lodge, we encountered just a gentleman in passing at that Masonic Lodge, and he sort of stopped dead when Nick told him what things he wanted to return. And it was just such a strange and heavy interaction. And we had so many weird moments in the year that we carried these items with us. Like there was very clearly this guy was involved in some sort of mystical things. He was some type of magic that had like carried through, because we found the father's things, the son's things, such weird and all that.
Can I ask, did you go together when you went to drop off the stuff?
We did everything together.
Except for the dinner. And that's why wondering, like, don't bring her.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's because you went together, if they were so aggressive to you because you brought your wife with you.
Maybe.
But it seems a little bit over the top to me.
After the fact, like months after the fact, like she got called the N-word.
No, that's nuts to me.
Dude, so this random guy that I've never met before came up and started shit with me at work while I was working outside. I yelled at him to like fuck off. Like made this huge scene. Well, the cops get called and they give me a ticket for like disorderly conduct and I have to pay $100. Nothing happens to me, like let him go. And I was like, all right.
See, this stories like this really surprised me because I do have, my uncle is a master of a lodge up in Canada here, which is still fairly anonymous because nobody really knows my name on this podcast. but that seems so hyper aggressive to me compared to like what I understand of the Masons that I do know.
Well, so the way I understand it, there's different rites and stuff in Masonry, and like this could be a rogue fucking out there little mountain enclave. And I got the impression from the town, like
It was very similar because my great uncle is involved in some secret societies, and it did not feel anything like the type of energy and the way that people interact. It was nothing like it was this very sort of intense, targeted kind of closed off community, and you were either with them or you weren't with them. And almost in that town had a lot of connections to whether it was strictly religious or secret societies or mystical or magical. There were like Seventh-day Adventists all over the place. It was just a very spiritually charged area, and I think that carried over into some of the Masonic activity because I don't know exactly what he's involved in, but it did not feel like the kind of boys club historical study spirituality. This was a little like menacing.
I've been a bar.
Yeah.
Like I definitely know what bedroom eyes are. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that I don't know. It just struck me as weird. But the only reason why I think it was the Masons is because it was the same people that I saw there, like also fucking with us around town. If that makes sense. Like we would go to Safeway and like the same guy would follow us all around the store.
Oh my goodness. I feel like nothing better to do. Just keep tabs on the people in town. It sounds like they were trying to intimidate you.
Yeah, for sure. And like a lot of people there, at least the ones that are like local, don't have to work. Like a core group of people that have money and like don't need to work and kind of run things around there. And it's like a small trifecta of town. So it's like Springs and Georgetown, like that little area there. County is what it's called.
This in you said Colorado?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's where we currently reside now.
I would imagine there's probably lots of little places like that throughout the country, like little towns where a series of lodges or churches kind of run things behind the scenes.
I would say so. Like, I don't know if you know about the covenant thing. Do you know about like covenant controlled neighborhoods? Have you heard of that?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I know that they're like somehow involved in like a religious sect, although I don't know which one. So just take that for what it is. But I know that they all buy up huge swaths, developed land. They like impose rules in their neighborhoods. It's like the HOA on steroids, but with like religious overtone.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, crazy.
That's here too. So, but I mean, it seems like a lot of the conspiracy stuff like either passes through Denver or like has something to do with Denver or like the surrounding area. It's weird. I don't want to say like
the big rumor was that like, the Illuminati's got all their continuation of government stuff there, and then the big underground entrance is at Colorado International Airport, and that's where they they're all gonna run to at the end of the world times.
So like I haven't seen anything that would lead me to believe that there's a big tunnel complex in DIA. But I've definitely seen weird shit in the mountains. So like there's like huge satellite arrays like near Clear Creek County, and like you have to be like looking for them. Like if you have a good pair of binoculars, you can like scan the ridgeline and you can see stuff like the tops of satellite dishes over the next hill. There's like weather stations, and I have no idea what they're for. But
California is like riddled with that stuff too, so I hear you.
Yeah. A couple nights ago, we just had this huge UFO sighting at Buckley Air Force Base. Like the same orbs that are over in the UK right now.
There's a lot of sightings right now.
Yeah, man. I don't know what that is either.
It all coincides with all this talk they're doing, in Congress again, trying to get like, I know about this secret group and this secret thing, and then it's all classified and they can't talk about it. And it's over and over, and you can never know if they're telling the truth. But we see these things in the sky, like, what are we going to make of it?
I think we're just going to make money with it. Well, a select few people are going to make money with it. The only thing I see happening with the latest UAP hearing is all of those fuckers getting on every podcast for the next 7 months and saying, I can't tell you, bro, but like, trust me. You know what I mean?
Selling books and
driving traffic to their websites, YouTube pages, like
lectures at hotels and humping all the housewives that show up. Those bastards. I wanted to see David Wilcock speak, and then I looked at the tickets because he came to my hometown. It was like $600. I was like, it's too rich for my blood. I can't spend no $600 to hear the stuff I could just find on YouTube.
Is that guy like a flesh and blood human? Like,
dude,
is he?
He's got big teeth.
I mean, he just like, I don't know. He started off as a really awkward, kind of nerdy guy back in the day. And then he got on like Gaia Network. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, it got a little weird. I remember during COVID, he was all about that Q stuff. I wonder what he should be shouting from the mountaintops right now. He should be selling his wares like hard right now. I should check in on him.
Well, so the funny thing about Q, man, I don't know if you know about websites like Godlike Productions and Before It's News. So like back in like 2013, 2014, conspiracies like Q were already like circulating on those websites. So like it just kind of all seemed like regurgitated. That's why I didn't buy into it. I was like all this has been on the internet for like 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, well, this is all like recycled stuff, like all that star seed channel messages stuff has been kind of saying that same stuff for a long time. It's just they like switched audiences over to like Republicans, and then now that the Republicans are there, now that's Republican stuff. No one else can touch it.
Yep.
I think that was the idea.
Super weird, because like it all used to be like derivative of the counterculture. I would say people that thought outside of the box were like into, hey, is the moon landing real or yada yada yada, and now it's like all that stuff's mainstream. And I don't know, man. I want to believe in a lot of this stuff, but I also am very, very reluctant because of the amount of money that is to be made now in this space, you know. So
all that stuff.
My 2 cents as a listener. So
well, thank you for sharing your story. That was awesome. It's good to know that stuff actually does exist, and it's like Hot Fuzz. You know, I don't know if you've seen it. Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah, I've seen Hot Fuzz. It was a lot like Hot Fuzz, actually. Now that you mentioned that movie, I've never made the connection before, but yeah.
Well, it's like they're making fun of it, but it makes perfect sense. I mean, you just talk about racism and generally have sundown towns. It's essentially what the Ku Klux Klan is. It's a secret society where you just control the town and you intimidate people. And I guess, you know, it's sad, but in some places it sounds like that culture is totally permeated through the Masonic lodges. And you know why? They tell you it's because each one's independent. So if a bunch of racist people get together, they decide, oh, we're going to make an intimidating lodge. We're going to run the town and have all the rich people in it. It's like, it sucks, but they probably get away with it.
It's kind of like thelemic lodges too, right? They're not all the
they do weird stuff and drama happen. They, you know, usually involves more sex.
I'm not super versed on thelemic practices or like.
For context, a lot of Colorado, so like Commerce City and part of Denver, were controlled by the KKK, and that in the
Sheridan,
early part of the country, not the country, early part of Colorado, so 1910s to 1920s, and I think a lot of that permeated into the Masonic lodges.
Yeah.
In particular, like they literally did control the politics. They had the money. They were in these societies. So you end up with, like you said, these little circles where for, 100 years they've been doing this. And now the members may not even know why. It's just kind of been the culture of the lodge. Because of what they're doing, it just takes this weird shape and all these weird behaviors.
Man, that's so sad to hear, though.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think the Ku Klux Klan got some of their outfits. They adopted them from the Golden Dawn. So now if you go look at Golden Dawn, it's like this all multicolored looking KKK outfits, and people are like, whoa, but it's because those two worlds were very close together and probably still are, basically.
It's just messed up that people will trace ideology that is hateful back to something that wasn't necessarily, and then they end up lumped together because people don't learn the history of it. And I get it. It's easy to be poisoned by having negative interactions and being discriminated against. But if you read, that's not what it was. It's just weird. Power corrupts. Power corrupts.
It really does.
Yeah, man.
Okay, we're recording now. Hecka, you were just telling us about how great the free healthcare was in Canada, right?
We don't have free healthcare anymore.
Yeah, you do. You just, when you have something wrong, you just go to the doctor and they fix it, right?
We used to have it so that if it was a necessary procedure, like if you needed surgery or you needed something done, it was totally covered unless you needed equipment or prescriptions, and you'd pay for, like a wheelchair or crutches, but otherwise totally free, covered. You pay taxes, it's totally covered. But now the system is so messed up that you have to pay to get in, because they'll tell you, oh, we've got a 2-year or 3-year wait list for this. So if you want to get in, we can get you in next month if you pay this X amount of thousands of dollars.
Pay to play Medicare.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So like it's actually right now America has a better healthcare system than Canada has, just price-wise, because it's so expensive and privatized, even though it's supposed to be public health, that a Canadian would pay less if they went across the border and paid for American healthcare than they would in Canada right now.
Well, we do have some socialized forms of healthcare, like especially here in California, on a state-by-state basis. So if something happened to me, some of it might be covered.
In Colorado, I had hernia surgery like 2 years ago. That was completely covered because I couldn't work without that surgery, so the state paid for it. Go no weed. Weed money paid for that shit. You know, our
And,
schools are
I
really
mean,
good.
that was essentially the trade-off with the liberal government is like, oh, but now we have drugs.
Harder, better, faster.
You can take drugs now, street drugs, and you're not going to be a criminal. But so long, healthcare.
There's the one Canadian guy that was selling like tested fentanyl and meth and cocaine. That may have been in Toronto as well. He got arrested within hours.
We have drug testing stations, so you can actually go in to these storefronts and test the purity of your drugs.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this guy made like essentially a dispensary for drugs, and it was open all of 6 hours
before the suits shut them down, bastards. You know,
assholes.
I hear if you have a really serious problem, they can sometimes recommend you just off yourself.
Yeah, that's the MAID program in Canada, MAID. It's an assisted death program that doctors can even prescribe it to you now. They can suggest that you just euthanize yourself.
You pay $50 to the bounties. They run by your house, run up. Is that what happens?
Oh, man.
They do a gallop by, not a drive by.
We do have Mounties. They're
you hear
not
them coming, dude.
all-
Clippity cloppity, clippity clop.
The sound of
They're not all on horses. But yeah, that assisted death program, you can look into it if you want, but we've got lots of cases where, like one, for example, is there was a veteran that was looking into getting some kind of elevator to help their wheelchair get up the stairs. This is something that you would normally do through a doctor. You would get like a recommendation, and then you would get like some kind of subsidy or assistance in building this because it's a necessity to get up the stairs. And instead, the doctor suggested that they do the assisted death instead.
It's expensive to build stairs, okay?
Yeah, like, oh, you have hardship and you want to get up the stairs? Well, why don't you just get assisted euthanasia?
How far away do you think we are from like the Hunger Games? You know what I mean? Like televised, like ultra violence like that.
I suspect that Canada is going more the route of Logan's Run.
Okay. You just kind of
You know?
walk willingly to your doom. It's not like
Yeah.
sport that encourages excellence of any kind, even if
No,
it
I
is
think-
doing horrible things.
I think they're going to shame you until you accept the fact that they think that, well, your life has been fulfilled at 30 years old, and so now you need to be renewed, quote unquote renewed, and get in the carousel and go to your death.
Oh shit.
I mean, it could make a great TV show, but so would Running Man.
Or Repo Man.
I haven't
Yes,
seen
think-
Repo Man, but I would.
I had the biggest crush on Alexa Vega, dude.
I suspect that one of the reasons why they brought the MAID program into Canada is because there's not enough renewing of younger generations. And so the amount of old people that we have to young people who can look after them, it's incredibly imbalanced. And so I think they decided that the MAID program would take care of the old people that they could just tell to kill themselves.
God damn, dude.
That's what I suspect. By the time the people who are teenagers right now, by the time that they are in their 30s, there's going to be like 2 young people to 8 old people, like elderly people. So it's way imbalanced because we're not making babies like we used to up here.
You can't just have the old people wrestle or box until their numbers thin out, you know? Live on TV, we almost had it with Mike Tyson, but, they had to throw the fight because they...
So is that the plan? They wrestle until one of them breaks a hip, and then
Yes.
because they can't afford the health care, they're given the suggestion of assisted death.
Yes, and
Part of this, like
The-
all of them are all how hard they were and how hard they had it growing up, and like they had to overcome all of this adversity and stuff. We just put them back in the workforce until they drop, dude. You know what I mean?
that's what we do in America, though. And that's
Well,
why everyone is so friendly at Walmart.
Yep.
The reason I think they probably won't do the Hunger Games thing is because, from what I understand, word on the street is that is reserved for the people at the top, right? That's their privilege, is to take us or the people we love, strip them naked, and then send them into the woods where they hunt us with like bows and arrows and hunting dogs and AR-15s and UFOs,
That's,
and who knows, maybe they shapeshift into reptiles or wear a giant
That's what
bull
Northern-
mask or whatever, and they play weird music from Enya.
That's what Northern Canada is for. That's the Hunger Games territory where it's just no one's going to bother you while you hunt up.
But at least we'll know, right? Like everybody at the party will be like, I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew it this whole time. You know, like you'll know in your final moments, I guess, provided they're not wearing masks. You know,
They want us to want the Hunger Games because we can't have it. We have to just wait and take the medicine and just zone out at home with the goggles on. We don't get to go and hunt. That's for the cool people. We're not the cool people. At least that's my theory. I could be wrong. We could all be in the Hunger Games in like a year from now. I don't know.
you guys are cool.
Well, thank
know?
you. You're cool too. I appreciate you coming and hang out with us for Cranksgiving, we're calling it now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I think our food is done though, so I'm gonna jump off of here.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us, Nick.
See you
Happy
later.
Thanksgiving. Happy
Peace.
Thanksgiving.
All right.
Well, it looks like we're now being joined by Plutarian. Welcome to our Cranksgiving feast of the rabbit. You said you had some interesting dreams to share with us.
Okay. Firstly, thank you for having me. It's all my pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, I'll start with the first one. I think this one I had it like just at the beginning of Neptune retrograde. So I was like outside, I don't know what I was doing, it's dreams. They don't really make sense.
Sure.
So I was outside and like it was like during day, like maybe late afternoon. And then all of a sudden I look up and I see like this eclipse. I think it was close to an eclipse. I can't remember. So I see this like weird ass eclipse. The thing that is on the head of the priestess or the tarot cards, but then it's like it had like another like circular thing underneath it. So I saw that thing in the sky. Like in my head, in my dream, it was like, well, that's an eclipse. But then like after I woke up, I'm like, that's a very weird shape.
Is that like the crown of Hathor?
Yeah. Something like that. I'm like, what is that? Like I've been thinking about it like ever since then. And usually what happens is like I'll see something and like I'll register it. I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen this somewhere. And then like later on, I'll hear something, like usually from your guys' podcast, like because there's a lot that I've learned about like the symbols and everything from the stuff that you've talked about. So it's like I'll see it and then like later on I'll be like, oh, that's what it meant. But then with this one, I have not seen anything like it at all. So
You should
yeah,
show us,
that's the first
like,
one.
sketch it or maybe direct us towards the tarot card where that crown is. And I can already tell. I think Hecka would love to talk about it.
I'm definitely intrigued. So it sounds like the crown of Hathor with something underneath it.
Exactly. It looked like another moon, like something like that. I would definitely draw it and I will send it to you. Like I can DM it to either of you.
I
But,
have
yeah.
a question. Was it
Yeah.
a solar or a lunar in your dream?
I have no idea. I just knew it was an eclipse.
So you couldn't tell if the light source was the sun or the moon specifically?
Just like the thing is, right? It was an eclipse, but you know how like with an eclipse, the object that is being eclipsed usually like comes out dark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one, it was like white against a dark background. Like the sky was dark.
Oh, cool.
Like I could see stars and everything.
So that, like, to me, that sounds a little bit more like a lunar eclipse. And the way that it translates to me, just symbolically, is almost like two moons in the sky. And it kind of sounds like a precognitive dream about the mini moon that we gained.
Maybe because like I'm crazy about space stuff. So it could be that now that you mention it.
Well, it's really kind of fun because if you look at the mini moon that, they were calling it the mini moon that we gained, and the actual data suggests that the mini moon that came back around and joined in to orbit, it actually came from the moon. It was little of the moon itself that had previously broken off and is now reunited, which is kind of fun.
Really? I didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
What about Hathor? Maybe it has to do with a strong, protective, feminine energy or something, no?
Yeah.
Not to mansplain.
Yeah, and the priestess card, it is the moon that's in her crown, which is typically you see Hathor with the sun, but there are instances where you see Isis with the moon, and that's also generally associated with Thoth, wisdom, knowledge, when it has the moon in between the horns. Sounds really lunar, feminine duality, but harmonious to me.
I guess. Oh, I will go with that. Because I've been stumped like thinking about it. I'm like, what was that? Because like I just looked up and like it was directly overhead. You know, like when there's a solar eclipse, it's rare that it's like directly overhead. You know,
Yeah.
but like it was right above my head, like it's staring up, like the way you just look up at the sky, like oh my god, what is that?
What does the eclipse mean in dream symbolism?
That one I am not sure entirely.
So
I am
just
not sure.
Google says symbolizing unearthing of hidden truths, secrets, or previously unconscious emotions.
I think that would be like specifically the subconscious or unknown
Yeah.
and more emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds more like it. I think I will pray and meditate on that, like to get more answers on it, because I feel like the fact that I remember it is just a sign that it was really, really important. So it's definitely something that I'll have to like ask about.
I don't remember my dreams so well myself, so I know what you mean.
Yeah, you should trust me. There's some crazy shit in there.
I'm
Wait
just not
until
good
you
at
hear
it.
the last one.
Okay, I'm interested. Tell me about it.
Okay, so the second one is like I was listening to your episodes, like one of them, I can't remember which one exactly, and you were talking about Horus and like Horus's qualities and all of that. So like after that, I meditated a bit, and I was like, okay, let me just sleep. And like in the dream, I was like having a conversation, like a casual conversation with like Aleister Crowley.
That's awesome.
I was just talking to him. Like I can't remember what was said exactly, but it sounded like a casual conversation. I think he was like giving me advice or something, but the thing is, I don't entirely remember.
Crowley in the astral realm? Awesome.
Apparently, but the thing is, like after that, because we were in my childhood home. That's another thing, right? My childhood home is like a recurring theme. Like I think like 3 out of the 4 dreams are it. So like this is the second one.
I have a lot of that too.
So
But I have a hard time visualizing things, so I just
yeah.
thought it was my consciousness defaulting to something I was familiar with, I don't know.
Yeah. I've heard that it's like representation of like your state of mind, because if you think about like the memory palace, like for those people who have like crazy memory, they use what's called the memory palace in order for them to remember like specific things. So in The Mentalist, I don't know if you've watched it, it's about a guy with like that, and he's like, oh, this is how I remember things. So he's like, if I'm going to remember like a certain card, like in a deck of playing cards, I remember a ballerina in a room with devil horns. So like when he sees that card, he makes like that mental image and he associates it with that. So with you dreaming about your house, it's like that is your memory palace. So like any activity that takes place currently, that is how your mind is set up. It looks like your childhood home. Because like when you first became like cognitive and when you first became like conscious of your surroundings and you're like, oh, okay, I'm actually alive and living, that's the first place that you were in. So like the way the house is, the energy of the house and all of that. So like you usually have that, because like even my sisters dream about the same. Except my older sister, she usually dreams about my grandmother's house because that's where she was raised.
That makes sense.
After we had the conversation, he just goes outside and he starts eating like on the ground. Like the way dogs eat.
Yes, that's the way I eat all the time. I'm eating that way right now, in fact.
No. Yeah, so he starts eating on the ground with like a bunch of cats, like 7 cats. I remember the number of cats, but I don't know why. But yeah, he's eating on the ground with the 7 cats, right? All of a sudden, a storm begins. Like it's a crazy heavy storm. So we I start like heading into the house, and there's like my family members and stuff. So I like start ushering them in, like, nah, there's a storm outside, come inside. Now, the strange thing about that is there was a woman. She looked kind of older, like maybe late 50s. She looked kind of older, and she was just like standing at the door. She was also escaping the storm. So I just looked at her and I'm like, who the hell is this? And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Just come inside. It's not safe out there. And then like after I ushered her in and like managed to like get everyone in the house, the roof of the kitchen, which the kitchen of my childhood home was like where most of my nightmares would happen for some reason. I don't know why.
Interesting.
So it's like the roof of the kitchen just like fucking fucking caved in after it was struck by lightning.
Oh no.
It just like broke. But here's the thing, right? In dreams, it is very important to like remember the emotions that I had as the events were playing out. I remember like being calm and being like, okay, I've gotten everyone to safety. So like when the kitchen caved in, I was like, all right, no one died. Yay. I did the thing.
No, that's great.
So
I think that's a good way to
yeah.
interpret it. You know, I have to butt in and just say it reminds me of tarot symbolism because in the tarot, the blasted tower, the Hebrew letter association is peh, it's mouth. You eat in the kitchen, you know, and sometimes the kitchen is like the spirit of a home, they say, or the spirit of the home lives in the kitchen, sometimes the oven.
Is traditionally where the hearth was located too for the purpose of cooking and stuff like that, right? So it's like the heart of the home, the place where everyone gathers.
Yeah, and like for me, because I love to cook, like it's just for me, the kitchen feels like where I am supposed to be naturally. Of which I heard that someone was like one of these like videos talking about like natal charts. They were like, nah, Mars in Cancer, you can be good cooks, and I'm like, that is why. That is why.
I'm a Mars in
So like
Cancer myself.
exactly. And Heka said you're a good cook, so
Well,
yay.
that's high praise coming from her because she's a very good cook as well. And
Really,
well,
that's
you know,
awesome.
Cancer is supposed to represent the home, I guess sometimes the womb, and it's like creative. And then Mars is all about hot, pointy, sharp, dangerous, all the stuff you cook with. So that makes sense. It also makes you good at like defending your home, or you're more likely to fight on your home turf, they say, with that alignment in your astrology.
I was telling my sister, I think like the day before yesterday, that I cannot advocate for myself for shit. If you're doing some fucked up shit to me and I'm just going to sit there like, okay, I can take this. I can take this. You know, that Saturn in 8th house is strong. It's strong as hell. Like you can take a beating. But if you do one thing to any of my family members, you're an op. Like you're an op. Like straight up. There is no like ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like both my sister's exes, I have beef with them because I'm like, you messed with my sisters. My sisters. Nah.
It's on now.
It's on now. And like it's even more so for like the kids. There's just no way. Like any child anywhere. You mess with a child, then like that's it.
Okay, hear me out.
For me,
that sounds like what your other dream was about, Hathor's crown, because that's kind of her energy, right?
The mothering energy, yeah?
Yeah, that mama bear, as we sometimes call it, where it's like, oh, you mess with my family, I'm gonna go crazy on you. She's that, go crazy on you.
Yeah, I definitely have that energy with you.
Heka's not stopping work to correct me, so I can assume I've accurately surmised. Yes, she's smiling at me. Okay.
I can't mute my machine. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but as very much the version of Hathor would be either Sekhmet or Tefnut. That is the go crazy on ya.
Yeah, okay.
Which I relate to completely because in Chinese astrology, I'm a tiger, and that's very much in my nature to be like highly defensive of the people within my circle.
Heka, you want to know something interesting? Right now, my sister is she's doing the exact same thing you're doing right now. It's like sewing.
Sewing leather?
Yeah, she's just because she's just gotten into it, but she's sewing right now. She's also a tiger in Chinese, in the Chinese zodiac.
No, wild.
And the third thing is that you mentioned bagged milk when you were talking to Luke. I was holding bagged milk like maybe 20 minutes before that, and I was like, hey, I heard Canada also has bagged milk. Maybe I should take a picture and send it to Heka.
We were talking about it.
I was ranting about bagged milk because it's a lot of people are like, what the hell? Because, you know, in Canada, we have bagged milk.
They don't get it. They will never get it. It's okay.
No.
The third dream. This one is like it's not so crazy, but I think I had this one before the second one I just told you about. In this one, there was work being done like on my childhood home, and like the living room, because like it's a bungalow. We don't really have like multi-story homes here, and this is like an apartment type situation. Work was being done on the house, and then like as they were digging, they found.
Just so people know, where are you calling from?
I'm in Zambia, the capital, Lusaka.
Woo!
Yeah. You have African listeners.
That's kind of incredible to me. I just wouldn't imagine we would have African listeners, and I'm very grateful we do. So thank you.
There is no need to thank me. Like, the work that you guys are doing is crazy. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, every time I listen to an episode, I'm so mind blown because, like, there are things that I was exposed to as a child that I'm only getting to understand now because I was listening to your stuff.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. I mostly just want, people to have a better day as they're going about their day. And I like listening to really weird, mind-blowing stuff if I can. So I do my best to try and present interesting stuff. So thank you. And of course, no small part with help from Heka and Mal and Maury. So
yeah, like if there was a way and I had like a bunch of like money just laying around, which I don't, I'm broke as hell. If I could, I would like sponsor you guys like every month, like just to make sure that that money was not going to be an issue so that you make these episodes happen. Because the amount of work that you guys do that goes into research and like you're also squeezing it in with like your regular non-occult life is just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Thank you. That's very humbling to hear that. I really appreciate that.
Man, thank you. Thank all of you guys.
It's
Tell Mal and
Thanksgiving. I
Mike.
like this. Perfect for Thanksgiving.
You should have a lot to be thankful about. Like I actually forgot that Thanksgiving was happening, and I was telling my boyfriend, I'm like, you should like try practicing gratitude, because it's really easy to like lose sight of where you're coming from and all the work that you're putting in. So it's important to be thankful. And for him, like I've seen him like go from someone who's like struggling because he doesn't have a job to like now he's like making enough to support himself and send money to his mom and all of that. So yeah, I've seen him grow too.
It's easy to forget how far you've come and get frustrated.
Exactly.
And just feel like everything's against you.
Like go and listen to like your first episodes. The energy that is there now is not like the same as the energy that you had before.
I'm almost afraid to go back and listen, but I do believe you. I remember in bits and pieces, and sometimes I'll go by and I'll kind of skim through, but it's scary. I don't know. It's been a lot of growth.
It has.
It helps to look back, and I find thankfulness to be a good tonic for anger or being in a bad mood. Like if you're really stuck, you really are stuck. You just start with some small stuff you're thankful for, and it like makes it a little better. And if you can kind of stay on that thought train, it's not always easy, you can kind of lift yourself out of some stuff.
Even for depression too, like finding things to be grateful for. And it's not even just finding it, it's realizing it.
That's true. It may be difficult, but you go back and listen to the old episodes. It's like, especially like for you, Luke, like from what you have said on the show, like it must be like worlds difference, because looking back at your past is something that is very difficult to do, especially like in terms of like forgiveness of the self in order to like move on and become what it is that you're becoming now. Like it's very easy to hate on who you were before, but I always feel the need to thank past me because of the sacrifices that she made. She gave me lessons that I can't trade. Like there's no way that I was going to learn about it. You can try doing that. It might be difficult, but hey.
It was definitely like the Wild West in my life right then. Because the show kind of got started right around the time COVID really started to snowball. Well, it really started to pick up speed, and then it kind of blew up my life. So I went a little nuts there, but it was fun. I would lose my mind again. I would maybe be a little more, careful with other people and their feelings and thoughts. And, I'm learning. Definitely,
I think, like, generally speaking, looking back at past self, there is often like two different extremes of reaction, and that's either like kind of resentment towards the self or a longing and attachment to it. There's like two different extremes, and you can feel both at the same time too. You can feel resentful about parts and then feel like a longing or attachment to something that is no longer. You can feel them simultaneously, and I think it's hard sometimes.
For me, it's like trying to find like a balance between that, because like as some people say, like healing is not a linear thing. It may sound like kind of woo-woo, but it's true. I mean, you can cut this part out, but I just feel like I'm I'm comfortable telling you guys this.
But if you'd like to hear the second half of this conversation, please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you the entire extended cut of this episode, but all of our episodes from our archives, which of course stretch back before the Roaring 20s. I'll send you a 5x5 high quality vinyl sticker of our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art, and you'll get the secret keys to our Discord server, where we love to hang out with listeners and record episodes like this one. So we hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Come and join us on Patreon, join us in the Discord, and don't forget, you must eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew, pew, pew.